Welcome once again to the Employees Assistance Program Information Series. I am Eric Ribeiro, a certified EAP administrator and substance abuse counselor. I'm also the EAP coordinator for the Ministry of Food Production. Today's presentation will be entitled Substance Abuse and Retirement. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, (N.I.D.A), nearly 75% of all adult illicit drug users are employed, as are most binge and heavy alcohol users. Studies show that when compared with non-substance abusers, substance abusing employees are more likely to change jobs frequently, be late to or absent from work, be less productive employees, be involved in a workplace accident, or file a workers' compensation claim. Alcoholism is a fatal illness for which there is no known medical cure, and many of its victims are forced to wage a losing battle, not only against the ravages of the illness, but also against the ignorance of a society which largely refuses to regard the alcoholic as a sick person. To many people, the word alcoholic means someone who is perverse and weak-willed. Why on earth doesn't he control his drinking? They ask. Those who are alcoholics and who have tried to control their drinking know just how impossible a task that is. This is because alcoholism is an illness. Effects of alcohol on the addicted person. The action of alcohol on the alcoholic is similar to the manifestation of an allergy. It is compounded by an overwhelming craving for the very thing that can only worsen the effects of physical suffering, irrational behavior, and increasing isolation. The practicing alcoholic's mental and physical condition is thus so affected by continuous use of alcohol that everything except its procurement is neglected or ignored for long periods. Sooner or later, whether indulgence is continuous or periodical, it results in a total disruption in all family and social relations. Dangers of substance abuse in retirement. If you currently have a drinking or drug problem, it's futile to think that when you retire it will be different. You didn't become addicted in one day, so there's no way you can overcome your addiction simply by willing it away. Too many employees before you have received their gratuity and severance payments only to have those payments either taken away by the moneylenders or spent in the rum shops, cocaine, and gambling dens. What was even worse is the fact that these retirees all had grandiose ideas, either of opening their own businesses, just relaxing at home in comfort, or traveling the world over. For individuals with drinking problems, Alcoholics Anonymous describes it simply: without fail, their ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. Those who did not go the jail route still fail to enjoy a long and happy retirement, dying either before or soon after retirement, leaving behind grieving family members unable to care for themselves and depending on the largesse of the state. We will continue with some information on cocaine and marijuana. Cocaine is a powerfully addictive stimulant drug made from the leaves of the coca plant, which is native to South America. It produces short-term euphoria, energy, and talkativeness, in addition to potentially dangerous physical effects like raising heart rate and blood pressure. Among the acute effects are increased heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, metabolism, feelings of exhilaration, increased energy, mental alertness, tremors, reduced appetite, irritability, anxiety, panic, paranoia, violent behavior, and psychosis. And among the health risks are weight loss, insomnia, cardiac or cardiovascular complications, stroke, seizures, addiction, nasal damage from snorting. What is crack? You have heard about crack. Crack is a form of cocaine that has been processed to make a rock crystal, also called freebase cocaine, that can be smoked. Cocaine and the brain. Cocaine is a strong central nervous system stimulant that increases levels of the neurotransmitter dopamine in brain circuits regulating pleasure and movement. With repeated use, cocaine can cause long-term changes in the brain's reward system as well as other brain systems, which may lead to addiction. Tolerance to cocaine also often develops, with many cocaine abusers reporting that they seek but fail to achieve as much pleasure as they did from their first exposure. This can also increase the risk of adverse psychological or physiological effects. And among the many risks of persons who use cocaine are those who can contract HIV. People who use cocaine also put themselves at risk of contracting HIV, even if they do not share needles or other drug paraphernalia. This is because cocaine intoxication impairs judgment and can lead to risky sexual behavior. Injecting cocaine can bring about severe allergic reactions and increased risk for contracting HIV, hepatitis C, and other blood-borne diseases. Marijuana refers to the dried leaves, flowers, stems, and seeds from the hemp plant, Cannabis sativa, which contains the psychoactive mind-altering chemical delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, as well as other related compounds. This plant material can also be concentrated in a resin called hashish or a sticky black liquid called hash oil. Marijuana is the most common illicit drug used in Trinidad and Tobago. Much debate is being generated within recent times over the drug's legal status, with at least 2 states in the United States of America legalizing its use. The debate has since reached Trinidad and Tobago. Among the effects are euphoria, relaxation, slowed reaction time, distorted sensory perception, impaired balance and coordination, increased heart rate and appetite, impaired learning, memory, anxiety, panic attacks, and psychosis. And among the health risks are cough, frequent respiratory infections, possible mental health decline, addiction. Those who start young are at increased risk for later problems. Suicidal thoughts. Associations have also been formed between marijuana use and other mental health problems, such as depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts among adolescents, and personality disturbances, including a lack of motivation to engage in typically rewarding activities. Marijuana and pregnancy. Marijuana use during pregnancy is associated with increased risk of neurobehavioral problems in babies. And because THC and other compounds in marijuana mimic the body's own endocannabinoid chemicals, marijuana used by pregnant mothers may alter the developing endocannabinoid system in the brain of the fetus. Consequences for the child may include problems with attention, memory, and problem solving. And injury. A recent analysis of data from several studies found that marijuana use more than doubles a driver's risk of being in an accident. The combination of marijuana and alcohol is worse than either substance alone with respect to driving impairment. Retirees who are more at risk of substance abuse are those who have previously had a problem with alcohol or drug use, those who have suffered bereavement and have prolonged the time for grieving way past what is healthy, anyone with mental health problems, and those who live alone or feel isolated from their community. How to avoid substance abuse in retirement? If you have had a problem with alcohol in the past, do not use any chemical or substances containing alcohol. It is not rum, as one employee put it. It's alcohol taken in any form, and that includes Seymour's, ice cream, cake, etc. Try thinking of friends as not partners, as many of those partners only care about ensuring you remain their main alcohol provider. Make an effort to find interesting things to do that will keep you engaged with life. This is what makes retirement so enjoyable. And if you are suffering from symptoms of depression or other mental health problems, you need to seek professional help immediately, as these only get worse. The secret to sobriety is simply this: if you don't drink alcohol, you cannot get drunk. Treatment services. Successive governments have implemented a range of programs designed to prevent and treat drug and alcohol abuse. The Ministry of Health offers addiction treatment at a number of facilities throughout the country. Treatment for drug and alcohol abuse is offered free of charge to all citizens. You do not need to make an appointment, and assessment and treatment are free. You can also enroll in an Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous program. More severe cases of substance abuse are treated at a Substance Abuse and Prevention Treatment Center at the Cora Hospital. Telephone number 662-2211. Where to get help? Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous are very useful in helping persons with addiction problems to remain drug-free. The EAP has compiled a listing of these groups throughout Trinidad and Tobago, so we can direct you to the ones closest to you. Once you have an email address, I will email the listing to you. The EAP can also help by giving you a referral letter to the Substance Abuse Prevention and Treatment Center at Cora Hospital, where you will be given the necessary support. Here is a prayer that has worked wonders for anyone who has had a concern and needed comfort. It has worked for me and thousands of others. It can work for you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you for viewing. You have been watching Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement and Other Issues.